good evening. The following scene is in New Sarum, is set about 30 minutes after Stefan ran from the former apartment building of one Bruja Mutt. He runs through various alleyways, occasionally stopping, dipping into shadows, remaining as still as he possibly can and as quiet as he possibly can. He doesn't have time to think about why he's been running, why he's been avoiding those who are pursuing, who would capture him. He does not have time to do this. He has to think on his feet. This is one of the first times in Stefan's life that he's had to think so quickly. In every other instant, he's had plenty of time to plan and to make careful decisions and to execute things based on those careful decisions. But tonight he just has to act, he has to run, he has to think on his feet. After running for some time from the area of central downtown to a northwest edge, he can start to see the side of the northern residential area in that corner of the city. Just one row of houses from south to north. He hasn't heard his pursuers in some time, though he's continued running, avoiding, slipping into shadows. At this point, he slows his pace, continues to stick to the shadows, to stick to the scenery that he walks along, the walls, the streets, the sidewalk, even amongst what few people there are. To all of them, he is not there. To them, he doesn't exist for a moment. And he keeps quiet, so as to keep that veil of secrecy, that layer of shadow between him and the mind of anyone who would look at him otherwise. He takes a look at his phone as he's walking on a now empty section of street. After coming out of an alleyway, realizing that he is late for work, he exclaims, "Damn! Oh, I did not mean to be late for work. Damn. How am I going to explain this?" As Stefan closes his phone, looks at his watch to verify that the time is still the same on both instruments. He continues heading north into the industrial district and towards the last resort. All the while at this point, a thought occurs to him. A thought floods his mind. A thought of events earlier this evening. Thoughts of a violation. He sees the woman naked, pregnant. He hands her something to cover herself with. A moral action, an action of propriety, or an attempt at such. He does not make a fuss, he does not make a big deal about the fact that she is naked. The fact that they were interrupted in the middle of a coital experience. No. It's human nature. There is nothing shameful about this. He simply tries to talk to the woman, tries to calm her. And then he realizes the tactic he used. The invasive domination of her mind. The attempt to manipulate her memory, even by making a detailed suggestion, something he's been contemplating, something he's been thinking about. He feels the wrong feeling of breaking into that apartment, though he had a key. He tries to tell himself he did not know. How could he know? Then a thought occurs to him as he continues walking. He should have known better. The first thing he saw, he should have known better. He should have made his way back out of the apartment instead of engaging with them. Stefan lowers his head as he walks and sighs, feeling horrible, feeling like an evil human being. Though he's technically not human. What is it to be human, he thinks? What is it to be human? You are still human if you feel, technically. Time passes as he continues through the industrial district. He takes a few slight shortcuts, nothing very grand, just shave a minute here, shave a minute there. He cannot get over the feeling of the wrong feeling, the feeling that he is evil, a feeling that he is nothing but a terrorist and violator. He doesn't like this feeling. He wants it to go away. He didn't mean to make transgressions against anyone. He was just trying to help. Then he thinks about the last time he was just trying to follow some kind of pursuit that drove him. Of blood. And the repercussions visited on him by the Tremere. He accepts punishment he had to endure. He accepts the ultimatum. He understands why. Now, at least. He hopes that something similar doesn't happen because of this, but he's afraid. He feels fear. As much as shame, regret. He even feels like damning Mutt for a time, for having, or even himself, for having put himself in a position, though it wasn't entirely his fault, to owe another kindred, to volunteer to do something for another kindred, to pay off the debt as Stefan felt appropriate. The shame and the fear, the loathing of himself, the loathing of decisions. Still, in the back of his mind, there's pride of some accomplishment. He feels that at least he succeeded and that nobody will be able to identify him. He feels as though the police did not get an accurate view of his face. The police will not be able to identify him, that the woman will not be able to identify him, that the man who, as soon as he turned around, fell asleep at his command, fell limp as though his spine had been removed, like cleaning a fish that had stood rigid. All of these feelings go through his head all at once. His facial expressions contort and twist. His emotions rage even more so, like a torrent of water pulled by the moon. Though he is not manic, he is perfectly calm. At the core of his being, it is like the eye of a hurricane. But all around that core, everything that surrounds the heart within Stefan Braunfiedler's chest is the raging mass of storm, tearing at itself, one limb tearing at the other. He eventually arrives at the last resort. And by this time, it's 15 minutes to 10. He tries not to show the shame that he is late for a shift. He simply walks in, greets Dave. Good evening, Dave. I apologize. I did not do this on purpose. Dave looks at Stefan, says, he hands him a piece of paper, tri-folded. Hey, Stefan, that's from the boss, man. It's to let you know he wants to talk to you as soon as possible. Told you to call him up. You're not fired. You're not going to lose your job. He told me to tell you that. But there's going to be some serious repercussions. You've been late, and missed too many shifts. Though not consecutive, but, I mean, I stuck up for you, though. I told him how much good you've been doing, Stefan. Stefan looks at Dave. A look of, almost a look of wanting to break, and then something becomes more stoic. He takes a haggard breath in, steals his nerves, steals his facial expressions, steals his eyes, the way they move. I understand, Dave. I understand. Just remember to follow the checklist that I made for everyone to keep the place as I got it, or as I got it to as it is today. Yeah. I'll do that, man. I'll do that. You take it easy. I mean, you gotta take it easy, Steph. I'm just saying. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, I'll see you around. Stefan walks out the door, pushes it open with his, as he goes toward the door, Carl opens the door for him, nods at Carl, putting the piece of paper into a breast pocket. He pats the large bouncer on the side of the arm and walks out. Begins heading south into downtown. Once again, this time calls for a cab. To take him to the Church of St. Christina's. As the scene, inevitably, as it always does, fades to black.